The following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Last Orders, the podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favourite actors and directors would rather forget they were ever involved with, apart from in this case. I'm Joe, and with me as always are my co-hosts, fresh from her time down in the exploding crystal mine, it's Barney.
Christmas!
Yeah, it seems a long time ago, doesn't it? And having only just been released from jail after beating up a chauffeur, a gardener, a chef and a fitness instructor, it's James.
I forgot that happened.
My
mind is still at the Ghost Factory, to be honest. As it will be forever.
Than the Ghost Factory. Yeah, we're back. It's been a while after Christmas, but yeah, we're here, and
we regret this choice.
We only picked this because it got brought to our attention, and
I think very rapidly I'm going to have to do the disclaimer for this episode.
Do it now.
Yeah, I think it's best.
Right, for legal reasons, we have to say this.
Hallmark of Greatness, Last Orders would like to take a moment for legal reasons to say something about Joshua Wesley, the creator of this week's film. Joshua Wesley has committed an incredibly serious sin, the nature of which disgusts each and every one of us. But aside from his film, it should be noted that there were reports online about an Instagram post that Wesley published on November the 17th, 2020, in which he allegedly makes a very disturbing disclosure. This podcast does not know whether the allegations are true and will refrain from commenting on them for obvious reasons. The film, however, is an absolute fucking train wreck and is completely fair game, so here goes.
I'm going to have to change a lot of my notes now. Let's get into it. This week's film, 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus.
This film does not deserve that jaunty.
No,
intro.
it doesn't.
This film deserves the sound of a turtle dying in some concrete. It's I would have watched that rather than actually had to watch through this. James, do you have a synopsis of this?
I do. 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus, released 2021. When Jennifer Virus, a big city Somalia... I'll keep going. Meets Jim Pandemic, a small-town cabinet maker and an old flame. Little does she suspect that the FBI will kidnap him and make 2,025 copies of him, or that the copies will be used as part of a replicant army to take down the President of the United States and his son, Kevin. Yet that is exactly what happens, and she knows she must follow Special Agents Dean and Keen at a distance of 10 yards at all times if she's finally going to lock that down. Contains scenes of manic laughter.
Again, infinitely better than what this
They
was.
always are.
But I mean, have we forgotten Fatal Deviation?
True.
I can never
I'll
forget
grant you
Fatal Deviation. Barney, this poster.
But I'm just going to say, I put in about 5 minutes work to get that, and it is immediately better than the result of this German man's
having looked
crazy
it up,
imaginations.
This has 2 writers and a 3rd writer for the screenplay. Someone actually wrote dialogue for this, I think.
Did they?
And they made their money because there was a lot of dialogue.
Is there?
Oh, yeah.
It feels like a lot of it's just them going, yeah, well, I'm sad for that. It's Barney, this poster is truly a thing of beauty.
Man stands outside Tesco with his mask. Will he put it on? Will he not? Is the green light on? Is it safe to enter the store? What? There's nothing really to say. He's just stood there holding a mask.
No, and then behind him is a man with army stuff on.
A Mandalorian, non-union Mandalorian.
And a woman with brown hair who isn't
wearing a mask. She must be an anti-masker.
I'm not sure if that's his sister or the woman. Is it Lucinda? Lucinda who always needs a wee. She's always bopping. I'm not playing the trailer for this because I don't want to give it any more credence than it gets. But the actual synopsis is the year 2025. Since the outbreak of the coronavirus in 2020, the world has not been the same. A communist system with a single world government has been established. English has been chosen as the world language. Contacts has been reduced to a minimum. Christianity has been banned completely. The Constitution, how we knew it, no longer exists. In Germany, a small group of young Christians start an underground revolution, brackets, with DVDs, close brackets, to reunite Christians and regain freedom, right? And there's
Does it really have DVDs in brackets?
No, I've added that in
Oh, right.
for comedy purposes. But I'm like,
'Cause they made a
2025
big
who's
deal
using
about that.
DVDs?
That was a long synopsis.
That's like literally the plot of the film. Yeah, I absolutely. Again, I think this is the worst one we've ever done, ever.
Oh yeah,
Worse than
it is
Breaking
by far
Legs.
and away.
Worse
Yeah.
than. Right, let's do this. We open with a load of black language cards. You know, like in "Oh no" sort of silent movie thing. But my favorite line is "Communists are everywhere."
All over the place. Communism is all over the place. It says there's no traveling, there's world government, Christianity is illegal, gay people are squatting all over the place, that sort of thing. The weirdest thing about this is that English is the default language, which they take exception to, but they've clearly released the film in English so that it'll gain a wider audience outside Germany.
There is a section of it that's randomly in German for no reason.
Yes, there is.
Oh,
Well,
a film within a film.
But my theory is, so everyone in China's just like, okay, English it is then. It's like, a lot of countries don't speak. You can't just, well, you're all going to have to die, I'm afraid. But that's okay, because you get to hang out with Jesus. You fulfilled your mission by not being able to learn another language. The first of many gaping plot holes in this film.
Please don't say gaping in relation to this film. We open with Roy, who I've just... throughout this, I'm going to call him Bubbles because he reminded me of Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys with his oversized fucking glasses. He's driving around. Pervert glasses.
They are pervert glasses.
They
They are.
are.
All right. Yeah.
He's driving around in a very banged up Citroen with no license plate. First of many
For
sins.
legal reasons, yeah.
I prefer the police's license plate.
Oh, that just says police.
Police!
Right, but this is the thing I had with this. Are they the police or are they the military? Because some of them are in fatigues.
The military police. Problem solved.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, they all hang out at the same shop, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, so
The
it's-
slowest car chase in the world.
It is. They're going at about 30 at most. Because I think you see it on the speedometer at one point. 30 kilometers per hour.
But the good bit is that they keep doing like gear change, like Fast and Furious gear changes, and I'm like, you're in third.
It's the when they break off and go over the field, and I thought that Clio is not going to beat that Land Rover.
No.
It was just as well, though, because the cop car following the Merc, it's black Merc following them, just stops. Doesn't even bother to go into the field. And they just whip out these semi-automatic rifles and start popping at him from afar.
Yeah, which again they could have killed him several times over before that,
And should have done.
and stopped this. Yeah, and then it's just it's the slowest chase in the world. But it's got, I've noticed, all the dramatic music throughout this is the free copyright stuff you can get off YouTube.
I did think that.
Because
Yeah.
I've used it before for other things. Yeah. So again, a budget of $10,000 this film apparently, and you can see it on screen.
Where did you find that? I've got no budgetary information, so I
I'm
just
fairly
ended up
sure it-
looking up how much gherkins cost.
I'm sure it was on IMDb. I read it somewhere. Estimated budget of $10,000.
Oh well, I'm not calculating now.
It's fine. It's
Fine,
fine.
you can-
But
You can get 100 tiny hands for that.
I don't know what cost $10,000 because it clearly was all filmed very early in the morning, or spent it on spray cans.
I don't think any of them are actors either.
I said it was like a German B-Tech production.
It
That's what
was.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me carry this file 5 yards to the left.
And interestingly, the fact that they were all forced to speak English, not all of them could really speak English all that well as actors. And I thought that added a dramatic element of realism.
Right. And then he's dragged. He's in a police interrogation cell.
No, you can't just skip over the fact when he gets arrested, he does that little leap over the bonnet. Did you see
Oh,
that?
he does.
The best hood slide.
Which he has
Yeah.
to sort of like stumble over because he does it wrong. And that's immediately before, it's immediately after when the police use their time slowing bullets to shoot at him. And it's weird. It just sort of skips every time there's a shot in this film. It sort of skips forward because they don't want to, I don't know, they don't want to show anything. They don't want to show off the
There
low
are
budget.
several bizarre editing choices of where they just cut to black in the same scene,
Yeah,
and then
throughout.
it comes back. What's that? Are you using the free trial of the editing software and it keeps doing that? Yeah, I've forgotten about the little jump, and I've literally only just watched this.
He does it again later when they recast
Oh,
the whole scene again.
When they have to redo it because they're running low on time. And so they have to put that chase sequence in again, exactly the same, shot for shot. It is. Even the little wobble when he's on the road, it's exactly the same shot.
But later on, they cut it so that the bonnet scene doesn't look quite as awkward. It still looks awkward, but there's not so much like clambering as there was before.
Look, we've got enough time. There's daylight. Let's do another take. No,
At this
I'm
point,
the
I think
director.
I texted both of you just saying, this movie is fucking dumb. This is the stupidest film we've ever seen. And we've seen Fatal Deviation.
Fatal Deviation looks like fucking Citizen Kane compared to this.
Fatal Deviation.
Fatal Deviation's similar in that it doesn't have a budget, but there was charm there. This is completely
They were trying to make a film with this. It's just Joshua Wesley espousing his nonsense.
And if anybody wants to watch our Fatal Deviation one, it is podcast number 20 on our roster. That is a much better film. Listen to that and then go and watch that.
Oh yeah,
don't watch
the film.
this.
And then write to him and say, make a second one, you coward.
Jimmy Bennett, go over to Germany right now and do it.
Yeah, punch Joshua West, spin kick his face in a boulangerie. That's French. In a German bakery.
And if you did win the tyres from the Facebook competition, again, let us know because I'd love to know who won that.
We never found out, did we? No.
I want Jimmy Bennett to Hans Gruber him off a building. That's how much
I think I've got in my notes, actually. I hope Jimmy Bennett appears at some point.
Anyway, yes, the interrogation scene. Go on.
Interrogation room where he's handcuffed to by a very thin pole that I'm fairly sure even I, with my spindly girl arms, could rip out of that table. But here we are. And he brings in two, the policeman, it must be, brings in 2 books. And says it's a felony to even have these. And I think one of them is the German Book of Law?
Yes.
Which I didn't know was a real thing, like a Judge Dredd Book of Law, like that is a real thing.
And it's because they've got a written constitution, isn't it?
Is that what it is? Because they kept going on about the Constitution, and I'm like, are we in America?
Well, not a lot of them are American anyway. I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, it's the West German Constitution. I've learned a lot of constitutional law over the course of this film. I'm not going to lie. It's all German.
One of them, and another book. I don't know what the other one was. I'm going to say the Bible, probably.
At one point, he says that we were under communism, which makes me think that he is East German. I mean, it doesn't. There's like a arbitrary thing now, but the part of Germany that wasn't in East Germany.
Can I point out the policeman is wearing a British police vest with gaffer tape over the top?
Is he now? I did not spot that.
If you look where it says police, he's got a row of gaffer tape above it.
I know, budget cuts in it.
Metropolitan Borough.
Yeah, which made me laugh.
Oh, I missed that. Can you buy police stuff off the internet like that?
Oh, probably.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that seems dangerous. And then it goes, what was it, 3 months ago?
Well, yeah, but it does cut to that. But Bubbles talks in this evil German voice. It's an evil German voice from American movies that he's got. That's the accent that he's got. It's not proper German.
It sounds very
evil German stereotype.
Yes, Dr. Jones. Yeah.
And he's talking about the good times of freedom before the pandemic in 2020 when that started.
It took away our rights.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and quoting from the Constitution about the rights they've lost, which he sort of scribbles out every time a right is taken away or something. And he's imagining everything that they were able to do before COVID, and he imagines a packed music venue, a series of empty pews facing a cross, which just reminded me of Married at First Sight Australia.
That did make me laugh.
Bushes with lights in them, a packed music venue again, a family drinking wine outside, another music festival, and then a wedding. And I was thinking, some of those don't even have people in it. That was his best moment before 2020.
Yeah, an empty church. That's what he remembers most. And the 2 gigs he's been to. Jesus is a friend of mine. Yeah.
He also says that he mocks the fact that it was dubbed a super deadly killer virus. And I looked this up because fuck you. This virus has killed 5.5 million people so far.
Yep.
You prick.
Yep.
Right, anyway, that out of the way.
But he needs to go to his empty church and then go and see Jesus and the Fish Boys at a gig. I couldn't think of a Jesus-y band. So, they probably wouldn't be called Jesus, would they? That's like blasphemous. But yeah, Moses and the Fish Boys. Yeah. And then, boy, do we get into fish.
Oh,
in a big way.
I don't get it.
Yeah. So it cuts to the 3 months before. And it's him and Hannah, who I believe is his sister, and someone else. Is it Luke at this point? And they're all sitting
Yeah,
in a
that's
bed
right.
sit somewhere, and Luke's like, "I love you like a family, but I can't watch any more family die."
Well, first of all, I've put her down as Hot Babe. I didn't realize it was his sister, but I thought she was going to be the love interest or something.
No.
I
There's
just
more
thought-
hot babes. It's full of hot babe.
I'm not going to countenance that. Calling other I've got a reason why, but I've also written down that in German that's heiße Mädchen.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
quite liked. Her name's Hannah, whichever one you want to go with. Anyway, she can't play an acoustic guitar for shit. It's like she's just found one for the first time.
The only one that can play an acoustic guitar is Hunter, right? Because even
Yeah.
when they're around that fire, it's dubbed over because he's clearly playing a mandolin. Like the music is a mandolin. But yeah, and he's only playing the same chord all the way through it, which Amazing Grace has more than one chord.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. When he plays a bit later, it is just some chords, and then they cut very quickly.
Quickly away.
Bubbles is sitting there in a leather jacket with the guitar behind him. So there's more than one guitar, but I think it's the same guitar that she's trying to play. There's a microwave there and also a lamp with a cross draped over it for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Right.
It really pissed me off, that.
What is in that cabinet?
DVDs.
No, there's like, I've got it written down constantly all the way through this. Whenever they're working at that desk, there's a cabinet on the left-hand side with what appears to be like 2 war medals in it.
Huh.
And it's
Yeah.
never meant.
Jesus biscuit. Give the tabernacle.
How dare you? Crunchy Jesus biscuit.
Tabernacle is one of my favorite words to say.
The next word.
Yeah, so Luke's like, no, I'm out. Also, we haven't really done anything. We just get together, like, because they've been doing it for this long, and it takes Holly to come along with her hacking skills before they gain any traction. Hacking skills of just
No.
using Google.
They are doing stuff. What are they doing?
No, because Luke leaves, and then they're like, we should start a new church. I'm going to stop doing the voice because we should start a new church. Yeah, do you remember the stories of the old days? And I'm like, it's been 3 years, guys. It's because they got, yeah, they used to draw
4
fish.
times.
Yeah, fish. I'm like, this is some hot fish talk right here.
I
And so
also
they
like
go-
how they think of themselves as a family. I think one of the reasons I was confused is that I just couldn't stop thinking about the actual Manson family, which they resemble increasingly as it goes on. Yeah,
Thank
Luke
you.
says that he doesn't want to see another family member die because they've just lost Jack.
We never met
Made up
Jack.
name.
Yeah, we never met him.
Also, Bubbles doesn't look like a Roy either. They have to
No, he should
assume,
be
like,
called
English
Hans.
names.
Or yeah. Well, they're
Gunther.
German. Get all them German names. It's not Gunther. That's a touchy
Give
subject.
the people
In,
what
in the
they want.
wrestling world at the moment, Gunther is a touchy subject. Yeah.
No.
But and so they're like, yeah, well, there's only 2 of us now, so we're going to have to go out and recruit more people to our insane cause.
Yeah, so they talk about how the fish was used to identify other Christians. Bubble says this you know what comes into my mind right now? Christianity, when it was born 2,000 years ago, Christianity was illegal. It wasn't illegal 2,000 years ago because it had just started.
Also, would it have done? Because this is
I don't even think
2025.
it was.
So Jesus died at 27, didn't he? Or 32? 33.
Yeah.
So you can't have a Messiah while they're still alive, surely. Like, so
Well, no,
I'm
because
not-
everyone was Jewish.
yeah, and it wasn't. It was only illegal during like sort of here in England. It was only illegal during like Cromwell-y stuff and that kind of nonsense, weren't it? There's been like purges of Christianity over the years, but
Oh, yeah. So in Roman times, it was illegal. But
yes.
I think it was like Julian the Apostate or something like that. Who would have thought this random knowledge would come in handy?
There we go.
yeah.
This is that degree in action.
He's right that it was sort of outlawed, but it wasn't outlawed when Jesus was born.
No,
because
because it
that's
wasn't
insane.
a thing. Get that Jesus in the bin. Yeah.
And then Hot Babe says, true, the story repeats itself. And I just put, how is any of that true? How is
Listen,
the story repeating itself true?
This is Josh doing his best. Like he's like, I'm making fucking big brain points here, right? And everyone's just like, you are insane. You are an insane, creepy man.
So you know what? I think we have some graffiti back there. Maybe we can just spray fish, and then maybe more people will think the same as we do. That is actual dialogue from the film at this
Yep.
point.
Yeah,
That's their plan. Spray
so
fish.
they get 2 cans of paint. What color paint do they use?
Blue and pink.
Blue and pink. Because one's a boy and one's a girl. Also the colours of the bisexual flag. Good work. Research. Yeah, they go out, and then for about 5 minutes, it's just a montage of them giggling and spray painting the shittest fish I've ever seen in my life.
My favourite place where they spray painted it. So they did the subway, they did a tree, and then they did some leaves on the floor.
On the floor, that's going to last. Yeah.
My favourite part of this is when Bubbles directs her to a suitable tree in a fucking forest of trees.
Yeah, I think that tree, yeah. There's a good bit as well where he like tosses the can up to spin it and then misses catching it and like has to fumble it. Is Jesus cool with vandalism?
Well, yes. I'm going to say yes. I'm just going to go out on a limb.
If it's for the greater good.
I was going to point out that they actually use fucking masks at this point.
They've all got masks on outside, yeah, as well. So they're not.
Well, they don't want spray paint in the lungs.
Yes.
They
Public
spray
health
paint.
concern.
They spray paint a bench that has "fuck Jesus" written on it.
Did they write that?
Yeah. No, I'm assuming someone else did. Like, because Christianity's outlawed now, so like to get in the good books, you have to be like anti that. Fuck Jesus. Or it could be like, the top bit of the bench fell off, and it was like for a good time. I don't know.
And a number.
And then they spray paint a bridge in an underpass where it just says hate on the walls.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I've got that.
And I'm like, they've had so much practice at spraying these fish, and yet they're still so terrible at it. And they didn't think maybe we should recut this and retake it. Nah, it's fine.
No, it's good.
Keep going over it. Yeah.
They eventually come to a tunnel, which they decide to tag. So the one with hate written in it, and a cop with aviators on shows up. Does anybody?
Oh, they're being tracked at this point by a mysterious leg as well. A leg in tan like khaki action trousers. Yeah. The cop appears with aviators on and just like randomly opens fire on them. Maybe he wrote that. Yeah, maybe he wrote "fuck Jesus" as well. He just goes,
her and she just goes, "Oh no!" falls to the floor.
Falls to the ground. Yeah. So Hannah, hot babe, has been shot. Drops to the ground, and as the cop also Roy has just fucking booked it. Like he's done a bunk.
Yeah, he likes it.
He's very good at running away and leaving other people to take the fall.
Yes.
As we learn later on, yeah. And the cop, is training this gun at her. I'm thinking he's going to execute her here. This is getting good now. No. And then he just gets bonked on the head by someone, who then ransacks his pockets and pulls out like some Velcro. Or takes his belt off. That's what I didn't understand. It took ages for him to
take something out of his pocket. So I thought, he's gonna get some grenades or a gun or something like that. No, he ignores all of that for a weird thong tourniquet.
Yeah, and applies this tourniquet that takes ages. And he's going, "What's your name?" And she's going, "Hannah." He's going, "Where are you from?" And she doesn't answer. He just keeps asking her. She's like, "I don't know, you random shit. I've been shot." And this is, I would say, the muscle of the group.
Yeah.
Hunter. And while he's applying this tourniquet, Roy comes back because he's gone, "Oh wait, maybe I should go and rescue my sister from the fascist police state." Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, come with us to our groovy hideout." And then we get shaky cam. Because it's action, in it. They bring her and they just throw her on the floor and wedge a pillow behind her head. And he's like, "Yeah, we live here." But I'm sure he says this is the bit I have difficulty with. It's an abandoned house.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she says they're paying rent to someone.
Yeah, she said that they have this conversation. Her arm very rapidly heals.
Oh yeah,
and she's just got a glass of water on the side.
It could be flat lemonade because that's good medicine.
But no one's removed the bullet or anything. She's
no. It's just gonna fester. Jesus will cure it. Don't worry.
Bubbles asks him like a fucking idiot because he's got a cross around his neck whether he's Christian, and he just goes, yes, I'm Christian.
Hunter is American as well. He was a Marine. He looks about 12. So I don't know what Marine Corps he was in, the youth brigade.
He's American. What's the manliest job we can offer him?
Well, that's how he knew about tourniquets and bopping people on the head. That's the two things they did. First week of Marine school. Tourniquets and head bopping. Yeah.
So Hot Babe enters into a conversation with him, which I found very mysterious because he says that he lost his job in the fascist police state as a Marine, and the pandemic angle of it leads her to lose her job as a nurse.
Yep.
I don't quite know how that works, but it might be because they're both fucking useless at their jobs. And her brother, who is Bubbles, has a master's in the economy, which isn't a thing.
He's very good at sums.
And then the conversation just tails off. Bubbles says, our plan is to spray fish. And then says that they left their spray cans outside, and so he's going to take a look at that. And even the Marine looks bored at this point.
He says, what is it? He lost his job because they wanted you to, why is it? I'm sure I had it. They wanted him to
the leadership came down.
They wanted him to say to do what the government told him. And I'm like, that's your job as a soldier, isn't it? Like, the government says go and shoot those people, and you go and shoot those people. That's how it works, isn't it? In the soldiers' world. I don't know.
Wanna.
No, he lost his girlfriend of 3 years because she was obeying orders and he refused to. So he's a traitor as well.
See, I thought they were setting up something there. They were
Between
chatting one another up.
Between Hot Babe and Hunter.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because she's saying
how
something
would you
like,
say chatting each other up? But they both looked like they've been given like so much morphine.
It's fairly anemic, isn't it? But in terms of like the direction of the conversation, she's saying stuff like, oh, well, the government are probably spying. It's too dangerous to go away. He says that he lives about 20 minutes away. He doesn't know where this is, but it's about 20 minutes away.
The radius. Good living. They're very accurate with their things, because later on, Luke's like 25 kilometers. While all this is happening, we cut away to someone making cereal soup.
Stop.
Layla.
It's just the greatest scene in the whole thing.
Some woman who we've never met before comes down, opens like a bag of just non-brand cereal, not in a box, just in a bag, puts like 3 grains of it in a bowl, and then about half a gallon of milk.
It's the morning, isn't it? Her brain's just mush. That might explain why she goes downstairs in her heels as well, just to go and get some breakfast.
Hey, you gotta be fancy. Cereal soup. And then she reads a note that says, don't risk your life for people you don't know. Love, Mum. And then that's that scene.
My name is Mum.
That's that scene. And I'm going, who's this? What was that all about? It's not explained, not set up who she is. She doesn't speak a word of dialogue.
See,
she
I
literally
don't
comes in,
believe that.
silently makes cereal soup, opens a letter, and then that's that.
I don't even believe that anybody's mum would just keep a message that brief either. I've put that my mum would probably have taken up 2 pages by now, just going on about slow gin alone. Anyway.
Screenshot it. He's in the Marines. If you're in the Marines, you have to agree with the government. What is in that cupboard behind him? This is where the cupboard thing is, on the side, where she's laying on the floor, because there's only like 2 corners in this room for some reason. It's like a lighthouse. This apparently had a script. Oh, and then Hunter goes, can I live here now? And he go, yeah. And he goes, sweet. And then just has a jam on a guitar. I'm like, okay, he lives there now. So what, if he was living 20 minutes away, is he going to get his stuff, or is he just leaving that there? Because he's only got everyone's only got 1 change of clothing in this as well.
Yeah,
the future stinks.
What he didn't realise in agreeing to live there is that there are no beds whatsoever.
No, there's no furniture. There's a pallet.
Yeah.
All take turns on the pallet.
We also learned something else about him as well. Oh, it's about their parents. So Hot Babe says that their parents made them, doesn't say what, hang on, no, scratch that. The parents made them go to church on a Sunday and held mysterious worship times. And then the parents offed themselves because everything was getting really bad. And the Marine responds to this information as though she just read out a shopping list.
I'm sad.
To hear that.
Yeah. Also, if you're a Christian and you killed yourself, you don't go to heaven. That's the rules. It is.
It is.
Suicide is a sin. Yep. So have fun with that, Roy. You shit. We cut back to Layla, serial girl, and she's working in her police station / military office. A random woman.
Bunker.
It's clearly a school gym or something.
Well, I don't know, because what kind of a school stacks the books back to front so that the pages are facing out?
It's for interior design reasons, that. Yeah, so it's more neutral. What school also has a cuckoo clock on the wall? When it pans around later on, all these military dudes doing stuff. There's just a cuckoo clock on the wall. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'd use that to keep accurate time in a military bunker.
Cuckoo, time to go.
Quick, kill the Christians. Someone comes over and goes, these are the latest files or names or something, and puts...
It doesn't say names, no. So we don't know what it's paperwork of. The latest cases. He says
cases,
the latest
that's
cases.
it. But when she opens it, because then Layla's clearly like working with the resistance, she takes them out, and it's just a list of names. It's literally Alan, Steve. Well, probably, yeah. Just that. And she looks, like I used to work in a shop and you can spot shoplifters a mile off because they do looking around for age to make sure no one's looking, rather than just stuffing it in your bag. And then also, a man comes over and goes, "I'll take those." Walks 5 yards, if that, to where this woman's sitting, looking directly at where Layla was sat. She would have seen it.
And that's his daughter. So that's the American officer.
Yes,
who I don't think is ever named.
The commandant, I believe he's called.
And yeah, his daughter's called Lucinda, who seems to be the head of the operation, but he's also in charge. It's a very fluid situation in this office / gym / library / cuckoo resort.
If you want it, we've got it. If you want black tablecloths that haven't been ironed and are straight out of the packet, we're your place to go. And then it cuts to a computer screen that's all green, and hacking is going on.
Is this Google Images?
No, this is the first bit where they're typing and stuff with one hand and clicking around, and it literally looks like the Fallout loading screen. It's all green, and there's like things spinning, like wireframe images spinning around. It looks quite good.
A man's head is also like
it's
floating around,
going left to right like a screensaver. It probably is the hacking screensaver. And that's that. They get up and leave. Okay, what was that about? We don't know. And then they continue. What's he called? Bubbles, Hannah, and Hunter continue their Jesus mission of spray painting more shit.
Let's just start spraying there.
While they're walking along.
If you're a Christian and you see one of these fish, what are you supposed to do? Wait by the fish? Go.
Follow the direction the fish is pointing.
I like the idea of people just randomly stood in a forest.
Because if you want to, get more
ages.
to your resistance, it's like, well, we need to go out and recruit these people who are stood outside by the fish. But
I don't think that's the
I
point.
don't understand. What is the point?
His plan is that they should go out, spray fish, and then God will provide a solution. It has no point.
Step 1, spray fish. Step 2. Step 3, bust it.
It just doesn't make sense because people have the fish on the cars and you go, oh, another Christian. But if you're walking around a park and you see a fish, what you supposed to salute it?
Acknowledge the fish.
Oh, magpie.
Challenge the fish.
So this park is full of fish, but there's nobody else around.
It could be like Christians are active in your... Hot Christians want to meet you in your area.
Wait by the fish.
I genuinely don't know. I think back in the day it was a sign of there is a church nearby.
Yeah.
Of thing. But with this, because they're spraying it in random locations that all look like heroin dens, to be honest.
There's a church down this dark tunnel.
Yeah. Oh,
Doesn't
look.
feel right.
Human shit. Yeah.
There's a church in this pile of leaves.
Dig down. Let's get to the tabernacle.
What if there was a big wind? You just stood there and there's no fish.
Is it a fish? It just looks like it could be an L. We don't know. Yeah. They're walking along and we get...
Hunter cracks a joke,
which is the best joke. What did the corona do to Jesus? Nothing. And then he laughs and laughs and laughs.
He does a better joke after.
I know, but that's...
He does like a weird laugh as well, though. He goes, ha ha.
Yeah, you got to lead with your good material. You got to hook them in, haven't you? Like, Jesus knew that.
I genuinely don't think that they knew he was going to start doing that either, because everyone just looks really awkward after he does it.
I wrote here, this had a script again, because it feels like it's just them walking about, because Joshua was the director of this as well. So he's the star director, writer, catering, but all of this. So how is he on the camera and directing it at the same time? That's the thing that you do like later on in your career when you've got on-screen like talents. Like, I know I'm good, so I can get behind the camera, and like with this, I think he just went, okay, yeah, just tell a joke. And Hunter was like, what do you call 2 nuns in a bath? Yeah, that's what it's done. And he was like, no, don't do those. Do one about corona.
Yeah, there's all this bullshit music on in the background as well.
Again, it's another montage of them spraying fish. Hunter
they
can't
do some
spray a
weird
fish.
bird noises as well from a top
yep.
and outcrop.
And then what do you call a fish without an eye? For ages. He can't spray a fish on the floor, and they laugh at him.
They sprays her foot or something, which I thought, ooh, that's leading to something else.
Flirty, spray painty, nope. Only I may do the kissing. Only if anyway.
They head for another tunnel because that's just where
there's
they're
at. There's a great bit.
tunnel over
There's
and
a,
over
we've
again.
missed a great bit where Bubbles sprays one line, Hot Babe sprays another line,
Oh yeah.
and then Hunter like leaps over it and sprays the eye on it. And I'm like, at least he's trying to make this interesting. Yeah, they do bird calls. Is that a fish, Hunter? And then, why has nobody drawn a big spunky cock with this spray paint?
There's a very interesting bit where they go into this tunnel, and Bubbles is immediately frightened by a piece of graffito on his left, which I didn't get because it was just
Couldn't
like a
see it, no.
Mario-style mushroom.
Yep, but,
There's like a grumpy mushroom on the wall.
Oh, no. Yeah, and then Hunter goes, do you remember the cinema? And I'm like, it's 3 years. Yes, I do.
And why does that prompt him to say that?
Also, they've been out all day spray painting because it's dark now. It's nighttime.
And he wishes
the
that he was at
actors,
cinema.
they've been born in the pandemic and they didn't know life before. It was just really weird.
They're born again.
Oh,
stop.
get out.
It's a better joke than anything they came up with.
Hey, what did coronavirus do to Jesus yet? I don't know why
They
he's touched out.
They start singing a weird chanty song about slime after that.
Oh, yeah. And I think we get a brief strum of Amazing Grace as well, for some reason. We cut back to the hacker.
That's throughout.
Yeah, it must be their motif, or it's out of copyright, more likely.
Yeah.
We cut back to the hacker, who has seen the fish, we think.
So
Because
she's been looking down on them. So she must have seen them spray something and then, goes back to the computer.
Right. Now, if the world has outlawed Christianity, why is there so much information available on the internet? Like, you could very easily block all that. China does it. Like, you know what I mean? You can only access certain things. So why is all this stuff still there for people to go and look at? Because they're going, yeah, we're sending DVDs out. Just look on the internet, mate. It's there. If you want to watch a church service, go to YouTube and type in church. It'll be there. Because she literally types in Jesus fish, all the fish appear, and she's like, oh, sweet, that's what that means.
No, there's not anything like irrelevant there either, like there is in real life, like Jesus as a fish sort of thing. She also she's got a curious habit of highlighting the Wikipedia text as she's reading it.
You don't do that.
Only if you're changing how many potatoes.
Yeah. Again, I think it was just to show that, like, oh, Jesus is great. Yeah. We got back to I'm going to say the Christian hole where they live. the sea hole. No.
Don't Google it.
No, I'm changing that. Don't like that. And there's a knock at the door. They open it, and there is a goth lady. Well, as close to a goth as you're going to get in this film. And she says, I am Holly, and I want to help.
I've got her down, right, at first impressions as a goth version of Nico, because she says it in a really stilted way, like, I am Holly and I'm here to help.
Who are you? I am what you might call a hacker. And I'm like, okay. And then I think there's the best line ever, where she goes, she's an animal cracker.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a translation error there, isn't there? There's also, he says that she could be the sergeant's best friend. What? What are you talking about?
You can tell she's a goth because she's got a choker on. Yeah. And
I also just want to point out, why was everybody sleeping around, not on any beds or anything, but also Hot Babe is sleeping next to a Christmas tree for no reason.
Oh, Christmas lights. Why is this here? Yeah. What the fuck's going on? They're saying that nobody knows where they live there, but they're paying rent to somebody.
That guy is not your landlord.
Also, Hunter, Jesus is okay with tattoos, is he as well? Hunter's got tattoos. I don't know. Is Jesus okay with tattoos?
Well, he's a Marine, so he has to get a tattoo.
It looked like trees, to be honest.
Oh, thank God for that. I thought we were going to get into some really murky territory. What was the far right group?
No. It's a big spunky cock.
He said it was something to do with virility. That's all he said when he made it.
And then they're like, welcome, Holly. You can join the group. Because you can get into any network in an hour, maybe 2.
Yeah, they set her down. They set her down to sort of interrogate her next to 2 boxes of gherkins.
And a fire extinguisher. There's a safety first.
Those gherkins are volatile.
You know, if you keep fruit on a ship and it can explode. They go, okay, Holly, we're going to make you like a hacking area. And they get a keyboard stand and a plank of wood. Yeah, that'll fucking do, love. Right, set up.
So what's their plan at this point? Did anybody get this down?
Again, is there a plan?
Yeah.
Digitally spray fish on the internet?
No, there is a plan, but I don't think it becomes apparent until later when they start burning DVDs.
Well, she says that she can hack the police system, and then Hunter says, but the police just look at everybody, so how's that important? And I'm thinking, well, maybe it is important if your main enemy, you could, find out stuff about what they've got on people, but they don't consider that. But then she says that they can hack into the police system to spam everybody's emails, everyone that the police considers to be a Christian, with an invite to their groups. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good way of getting loads of informants and people who are being spied upon to your group gatherings. So it makes no sense whatsoever.
A good way to people wouldn't do it. It's like the you've won a speedboat thing that the police do. I wouldn't go to that. What? Come to this Christian meeting. We are not the police, promise.
But on that note, you're allowed to be labelled a Christian so long as you don't practice Christianity. Is that right? Is that what's illegal?
I don't think you're allowed to pray in public.
So they're like, well, Christianity is illegal, but they've got a name of everybody who's a Christian. Well, surely you'd just kill them all, wouldn't you?
I mean, I was hoping for a lot more executions in this film than there was.
I think it's only illegal to spray fish in a tunnel, and that's an
on a Wednesday
offense. So they set up this. It's a utility closet where they set up a table.
It's next to a steam pipe. Yeah.
They set up a laptop and a monitor, and then just use the laptop.
Yeah, you need the monitor though. I mean, I've got 3 monitors here, and I use them for nothing. But it's nice to have them. Keyboard stand, plank of wood. Now we're really making a desk. Go back to the military place. There's more military stuff going on.
Yeah, Layla's there. There's a list coming out in about 30 minutes or something. The supervisor says that he's getting a snack. And she says, yes, it's very stressful right now.
That wasn't the supervisor. That was just a random dude who was in the film.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was just
that was his big line. Yeah, he'd put 20 quid into the Kickstarter to make this. And he was like, I can have a speaking part? Yes, you must ask about snack.
Is that Tim? Who's Tim? Can I just ask at this point? Who's
Tim?
Long
Tim.
Long Tim. Because in the credits...
No. I don't know who Tim is, but when they're handing out the DVDs, when they go, hey, we've got 10,000 people in Asia, or whatever, she hands him 2 stacks of DVDs and goes, give them to Tim.
Because just in the credits, it just says Tim Plus as Tim. And it's like completely after all the other acting credits. It is like after catering or something like that. I was like, who's Tim?
Is there a dog in it or something? Tim Blice you don't give a dog a surname, do you? I don't know now because I
think you're right though. I think give this to Tim, who then gets credits even though he doesn't not appear
He's
in
not
this
even
film.
on screen. They might have cut his bit.
Oh yeah, because Tim was the problem.
Yeah, he come in with a
maybe Tim was too good at acting and they thought, we can't have him in there.
Joshua was like, "You're not stealing my limelight." He had an Erasure shirt on, and they weren't having that either. Military stuff. This is the cuckoo clock.
Yeah.
I think at this point I started skipping through it at like 10 seconds apart.
No, you've got to absorb all of the liquid nonsense, I'm afraid.
So did you miss the bit where she takes some more files and then goes into a server room where she's got a laptop set up with a Word document on it headed Christian Conspiracy in size 40 font?
Yeah, you got to be able to see that from space.
Presumably that's Christian _ conspiracy .docs that she's got on the hard drive.
Is that when she gets busted or is that later?
That's later on.
She walks out of the server
How long
room.
left of this film?
Ages, mate. This is like 20 minutes in so far.
Lucinda's there and she was like, what were you doing? There's a server room. And she was like, nothing. And she was like, oh, okay then.
I was just checking for efficiency, I think she said. I was like, that's something Germans like.
Germans like, yeah.
Well done. Have a promotion. Have a snack. It's depressing. Yeah. And then I've got this fucking nonce again. This is it's his big speech. This is when he starts doing speeches in the I'm assuming the free areas of town where you can go and stand.
Is that where they've got umbrellas?
There's like umbrellas. 5 people stood there with umbrellas listening to him.
Well, it's a montage of different speeches as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all the same speech, but it's him doing it in 3 different locations.
Yeah.
In this sort of Colosseum style amphitheater thing. Yeah. On top of like a silo or a dump truck or something.
I thought it looked like a skip.
It could be a skip.
There's a nice shot at the end of it of him climbing down from the skip as well.
Yeah, but there was nobody there. It's just him yelling at some cows and shit. Right? This is the free music you get off YouTube, and it's the least passionate speech I've ever heard.
Well, he also cribs a bit from Braveheart, didn't he?
I've got. He literally quotes Braveheart.
They may take our lives, but they would never take our freedom.
No, because that's got too much emotion in it. It's more like, they may take our lives, but they can never take our freedom. And it's like, mate, emote. Come on, you're supposed to be this passionate, fiery leader with your black Steve Jobs turtleneck on your skip.
I think it's supposed to show like passage over time because there's nobody at the amphitheater. There's like 3 shots, and I'm sure at first there's nobody at the amphitheater. Then there are 6 people at the amphitheater. Then there's no one at the skip, and then there's
still no one at the skip. And he goes, the skip was a mistake.
They followed the fish.
Yeah, he quotes Braveheart, and then he messes up his own speech. He literally goes, no, and then goes back into it. And then who was he talking to in that silo? More music and then walking about. Yeah, that's it. They hand out some like pieces of paper to the people that are listening to this speech at the end, which I'm assuming is the Christian conspiracy doc. Yeah, so it's like, if you know any of these
names
people,
on it. What does this mean?
So all the police have just a list of names as well.
It just says Tim over and over again.
Long Tim, one of them.
Tim.
Oh, and then is this where this might be Tim? Is Tim not the guy that comes to see him and he's like, I've been following you for a while and we're all cool and groovy, but people I know have been executed.
No, that's Dylan.
Oh, for God's sakes!
Keep up.
You've
also
he's in this one scene and then we never see him again.
I think it's around the time there's this montage. There's like a sub montage, which is an innovation in itself, of him cracking on with this random lass that I think is Layla. It doesn't look like her at first, but
it's not explained. Yeah,
it's not explained how they met. And he's sort of showing her around a ruin. There's a map in the background showing the improbable spread of Christianity across the world, like a virus.
I think he's cribbed from something else. That as well. That's
it looks too good. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that's where at least $5,000 of this project went.
And then it cuts back to Bubbles and Layla again, and he's just romantically holding a brick. He's like pointing a brick into her face. I would have loved for the dialogue there to have been not having.
Probably not. It's just here's brick, Jesus brick. Yeah. So Dylan
sprays his brick.
Dylan comes to see them and says that while he is a Christian and all,
while they're playing Norwegian cards.
Cards against Christianity. And he's like, yeah, people I know have been executed. I don't know if I can do this anymore. And Bubbles basically says, oh, it's okay. They died for what they believed in, so they're in a better place now. They've won. Ha ha ha. And you're like, you shouldn't want people to die.
No.
Right? That's not what Christianity is all about.
That's what a psychopath would say.
If they die for a cause, then they're going to heaven, aren't they?
But
what,
I
for Roy's got runaway Roy.
So long as they sprayed a fish before they departed this earth, it's fine.
I thought it wasn't really that comforting because his friend comes to him to say, oh, my family's been arrested. It's terrible. I got out alive. And he just straight up says, oh, don't worry. They're going to heaven.
And then he's like, do you want to buy one of my mix CDs?
Yeah. He offers him a selection of CDs.
I was like, just put it on SoundCloud, pal. The internet still exists.
Did anybody get what any of the DVDs were about?
One was Bible verses. One was
Bible verses encouraging Bible verses.
Oh man, that's the wheel within a wheel.
You like this Bible verse? Well, you're gonna love this next one.
And
where were you when this Bible verse was a hit? Who can forget?
And the tantalizingly called Worship Nights. We've made a few changes.
Yeah, you must be 18 to listen to that one, or not.
Then there's a prayer montage.
There's some sexy praying music, and I put, "You need Jesus," the lot of you. I don't understand what they're trying to do. Like, they've gone from spray painting to selling CDs. This is literally the trajectory of the Beastie Boys.
But it's when they're trying to sell them, give them to Asia. Asia can burn their own DVDs.
I wondered about this. You know, with burning DVDs and everything, would that work? Because they're in a different region.
I think burnt DVDs are region free, or you can make them region free.
Oh, so I did all that research
DVDs now?
I did all that research into DVD regions for nothing. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
They've got one of them cases like the bloke in pub. What film you on?
Oh, the little Chinese fella that had come in, and you'd buy sort of like 7, and it would just be pornography.
Worship Nights.
Worship Nights. With Alec Jones.
I see you can't pray properly.
On your knees.
Amazing Grace. Nope, because that's coming soon. This commander guy of the police, right?
Oh.
He's clearly the youth pastor, isn't he, for this group of people, like in the real world?
Yes, yeah, he definitely is. Because he's not an actor, is he?
His idea is to round them all. I think he's just going to become more brutal, isn't he? Like they're just going because he also says lemonade this problem because he can't. He's supposed to say eliminate, but he says lemonade.
He's too busy focusing on his hand gestures. They're all over the place.
He's passionate about what he does.
More flailing, please.
And all these guys, some of them in police uniforms, some of them in military uniforms, all stood there, all with masks on indoors, which I don't think you have to do. I don't know. They're all stood like 2 meters apart from each other anyway. So to make it look like there's more of them, except it doesn't. It makes it look like there's less of them. And then we cut to the Game of Thrones Battle of Winterfell style Dark Night, where they're all stood round a burning brazier, singing Amazing Grace, while Roy mimes a guitar. Why are they doing this outside? They could go to his house and sing indoors, where it's going to make less noise. Because I'd grass them up to the state.
Well, at this point, I'm not quite clear. I get that they're trying to organise group and events and attract more and more Christians across the globe. But why have you got your hand over your mouth?
I think Barney's theory is correct. Because later on, just before this, a guy comes over to them in the military bit and says, there's random groups meeting in random places, randomly. They're just going to all the fish. Just random fish. They go to one a day, and whoever's there, they just have a good old jam. Yeah.
See, I thought it was just a death wish. Like, why are they doing this? That is very public.
It's not like, like when they used to hide the priests in the hidey hole so they could have secret masses and stuff. This is just them singing Kumbaya around a campfire. It serves no purpose.
Somebody points out the police.
Your cause.
Somebody points out the police headlights and they're like, oh no, fuck it, just carry on.
Yeah. Roy's like, no, we'll all stay here. And then he goes, bye, and scatters.
Please tell me, by the way, that you've recorded a section of Amazing Grace, the rap version.
I haven't, because I don't know whether that's copyright protected or not. I did like the fact that he goes, that was Amazing Grace. I've got another song now, and it's Amazing Grace, but with different lyrics. It's the same music.
I was like, they used to sing this. I was like, what is it? Colours a Day?
Play that song again.
This sounds like rock and or
roll. And then he runs off because they're like, no, Roy, you must live. And he's like, he's done out. He's a danger, if anything.
It's the army police.
So he does a bunk, and we get Amazing Grace that's got rap in it. And it's not even like, I love you, Jesus, and I think you're really good. It's not even that. It's just some guy rapping. And I've got, should we put lights on these nighttime scenes? Nah, fuck it. That would cost money. And it's just them chasing him through the woods for a bit. And then there's like a minute-long shot of a man stamping on a fire.
Yeah.
Stamp on that fire, Daddy-o. Because it doesn't go out. And he's just like, my foot's on fire.
So the
Should I
magic
keep going?
candles.
Yeah.
They arrest these people who were kneeling down and praying in this field, and he's like, "Stop praying!" And so he arrests them and drags them off. And it cuts to the next. To the next morning, and he's up a mountain having a bit of a pray.
Mountain's a strong word.
Hillock.
It's a hillock with a big stone on it.
Yeah, but he's doing proper Michael Jackson Earth song pose at the top of it as well.
I put it as "Come at me, bro, arms to God," which makes sense because God's not helped at all at this point.
But again, he's okay with letting these people be taken away and executed.
Yes.
That's not a way to grow your numbers, to let people die.
No, it doesn't. I'm not quite clear on what's going on now. I mean,
No.
it was always a bit shaky, but there is no plan whatsoever.
No. Oh, this is the bit where it goes back to the military thing, and it's the guy comes over and says, they're meeting in random places, randomly. Random. And he goes, we need to sort this out. And then he goes, Lucinda, come over here. Look at my fucking train.
There's a lot to this. Okay. So they cut to this where the American officer says good job to someone whose laptop isn't even on. And then, the gaunt man comes over, who I thought might have been Tim, but isn't. And he talks about how they're meeting randomly. And then the American officer goes, random? They have to have leaders.
That's how it works.
Because otherwise there would be some crossover if it was unplanned. Yeah, but
Whenever we bust them, there's always a badly painted fish on the floor.
He says, tell me why we don't have the head yet. And he says, well, they kind of know what they're doing, but they don't because they've just arrested a fuck ton of them.
Like,
And
if
then
you
it's
were-
model train time with Lucinda.
If you wanted information, torture them.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure in this brave new world, torture's legal.
Oh, but we just keep shooting him.
Yeah, we should like.
What
make
was with his model train? What
Well,
what
he
was
says
the
he explains that
purpose?
dangerous things are often hidden in beauty as he's caressing this train.
I think they had a big train in that room, and he was like, improvise something around the train, and he's like, okay, yeah.
But not the cuckoo clock.
No,
He's
no,
got-
no, no.
I would explain why it's there though, because he says that this thing is an antique, and antiques are made of history.
That sounds like a translation error.
I mean, it's an interesting point of view.
I think it's made of wood, actually, Kenneth. But okay,
Wood and history.
it's joined together with history. Lucinda
And-
stood there in her scar pants as well. She's got black and white check pants on, ready, and she keeps just like hip swaying from side to side, like she needs a wee.
It's playing Scar in her head over
She
and over
is.
again.
She's
Uh,
like,
all
we
that-
also-
Jesus
all
is a
that
friend of
milk she
mine.
has in a cereal.
Oh no, that
That's
wasn't
not
her.
her. That's Layla.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh, but doesn't everybody do that?
What?
I've got
Cereal
three.
soup.
Oh.
A mug of milk.
Cereal soup.
He says that the train and possibly antiques in general represent the Christians to be killed. I
The
didn't really
leap,
follow
but
that.
I'll allow it. Yeah.
And then Lucinda comes up with the idea of swearing on the Constitution. Although that's what Hunter said he was fired from because he wouldn't swear on the new Constitution. But
Of
everybody goes on about this Constitution idea like nobody's ever thought of a Constitution.
Of
before.
America, though. Maybe they did it in which I think they have to do. Isn't the Pledge of Allegiance like a swear? Anyway, they're in Germany, so it doesn't matter. And then we go into German mode.
Oh, well, Layla's at a desk, overhears all of this, and calls Bubbles up, who's outside a fruit and veg shop.
With the dirtiest curtains. Yeah,
Oh,
wash
it's so
your
dirty.
nets, you dirty cow. Oh yeah, because
You wouldn't buy your plums from there, would you?
she's clearly reading this off a screen. Because she
Yeah.
keeps looking down, going, they're making you do a swear on the Constitution. And he's like, the one thing we didn't want to happen. How are they going to enforce it?
She
They're going
had
to
to
come round
read
your
it off,
house every
though.
day and check.
That's what ChristianConspiracy.box is.
It's like Creed's thoughts.
Yeah, so she says that he better not be out in public around these times when they're swearing on the Constitution.
Maybe you have to do it in public. Like,
Was this an important call, really? He's going to find out about it.
I don't think he really cares, does he? He's in it for himself. He's letting people die left, right, and centre because he can't run away fast enough. Man's a menace.
And yes,
Yeah.
then it's the German scene.
So it's Holly and Hot Babe sitting there talking in German, and she's like, I've done so much research on Jesus, and I really like him now. For some reason, she's got a cross drawn on her face as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's got like a little,
Isn't
like
that a gang symbol?
where a teardraught tattoo would be. Yeah, for a like.
Oh,
she's got
no,
like
that's
a
like
cross.
Manson, isn't it? With a cross on the forehead.
Yeah, well, you see, it's a swastika, wasn't it? But
Don't
yeah.
like this.
Yeah. And she is. What is happening? Holly, no. Why are you doing this? And then they have a bit of a pray together in German. And then they go back to English. Oh, Hot Babe pulls a Bible out from somewhere. Where's that getting printed if Christianity's outlawed?
Because we've established you can have these things, you just can't sing Kumbaya out in the open.
If you were making something
and
illegal,
you can have a
you wouldn't-
Christmas tree. That's fine as well.
To be fair, that Christmas tree gets fucked up at the end. And then they go back to talking in English, and then they have a hug, and I'm like, "Go on, kiss her, Hannah, kiss her for Jesus." They don't.
And then it's the point where Tim is referenced but does not appear.
This is Tim not appearing in this film. What is that fucking case again with the medals in it? That's just there. They've reached 100,000 people in Asia.
Even though it had already spread to Asia on the map previously.
Don't
when he
worry
was doing
about
his montage speech.
But she's writing this information on the back of a paper plate.
Useful.
I don't know why. And he goes, yeah, give these 2 handfuls of DVD, about what, 25 DVDs? Get them to Tim so he can go take them to Asia.
Need one of those
Even though
DVD
travel
wallets.
is illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even on a spindle. They're loose. They're going to get scratched to fuck. And then I'm just literally, there's a knock on the door, and it's Luke, the traitor who left.
The low
And I've
energy traitor.
And I've just put, everyone in this film looks like a sex case. Because I'm sorry, Luke, mate, that haircut ain't doing it. Why is it shorter at the back than the front? It's so strange. He arrives and immediately puts his hand down his pants.
Does he?
Yeah, he
Are
says
you a
that.
sex predator?
He knocks on the door and they go, oh, because Hunter's about to leave with his DVDs to give to Long Tim. And he opens the door and he goes, who are you? And he goes, oh, is Bubbles there? And he goes, who is it? And he opens the door wide. And I was hoping it was going to be like this, the Gestapo. And they were just going to machine gun him to death because I wanted this to be over. But it's Luke and he goes, oh, hi. And then just literally puts his hand down his pants. And I'm like, what are you doing? Menaces, the lot of them. Luke's there to warn them.
Yeah, he says that the world has changed and it will never be the same again. And that pauses in the original as well, as though he's just like forgotten a bit of dialogue. But he's all about the governments now. He says that it's got new values, which apparently means that they can't have any. And then he's afraid they will have to do daily confessions. Ooh, who does that sound like?
You don't have to do it daily.
I think he says that it's going to be all the time.
Constantly confessing. I've also written, can you imagine if this was the block of flats you lived in and there was these pricks fighting in the corridor constantly? I'm like, this is a communal area. Can you move on, please?
Well, later, Luke tells the military police that they live in an abandoned house, abandoned flat.
They're
Doesn't
paying
tally.
rent on.
So it doesn't make sense.
No.
None of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
Why is it not finished yet?
Luke then goes, well, don't say I didn't warn you. Bye. And walks off. And I'm like, oh, Luke's going to betray them. We get a lovely walk past some wooden cable reels that are pushed up the side of the road.
Yeah.
And then I've put, wouldn't it be great if they met Jimmy Bennett walking the other way?
It goes on for ages, doesn't it? He says that he wants help interacting with girls, especially you.
I have a sister, but...
And then she responds to this by going, oh, it's about me.
Yeah. This is awful. I hate this. I hope they get run over by a passing car.
But they can't because it's barricaded by 2 mounds of earth.
Yep, it is. So, and then he goes in for, just pop your hat off, love, and I can give you an awkward kiss.
And my favourite bit is, after the kiss, he then puts the hat back on.
And all that's regular now. Good day.
She leaves. She goes through the 2 orange cones.
I have to go to work now.
And off she goes.
Yep.
The cones.
It cuts back to Roy's. He says, "Come round later. I'll have something for you."
That's what she said.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that because he then gives something to somebody else.
He gives it to Holly. Because Holly's done a pray and has found Jesus now on the internet, like Neo from the Matrix. He comes home with a cross. A Christian cross, not a crucifix. It's not got Jesus on it. But again, if it's been outlawed, if it's illegal, where is he buying this jewellery from? The illegal jewellery store?
It's made it. 3D print.
Also, if it's outlawed, if it's illegal, is it a good idea to walk about advertising it?
Because everybody does.
And then we get a really weird close-up of Holly's sort of decolletage as they're putting it on that lingers a little bit too long for my liking.
And then it cuts to Layla just nicking files from work again.
She loves it. She just loves stealing.
But she gets caught this time.
She's
by
nicked Tim's lunch, Tim's snack out of the thing. Yeah, she's been busted, and who is it's Lucinda, isn't it?
Yeah, she takes her outside to some rolls of carpet for a quiet word.
I thought she was going to pop her in the head.
I know.
But no, we get weird audio cutting across here as well. Because when one person's talking, the other person's very quiet. And then when it changes camera angle, the other person's dead loud. Because they've clearly only got one microphone between them.
Yeah, and you considering you see nobody around. There's a lot of cars in the background.
Again, I think this is filmed at like 6 a.m. before people go to work.
You can hear a lot of traffic.
There's a bit later on where Bubbles is running from the police. Before he gets in the shitty car, and he passes at like almost like a scrapyard or a garage
and there's
or
one
somewhere
guy
between the two. I think it's that. I think they've done all their shooting there.
Scrapyard.
But yeah, if you were taken out for a quiet word there, you would think, right, I'm going to die then, aren't I?
I'm going to get shot in the back of the head and put into a car crusher. Nope. And then she goes, my father made me a robot. And I was like, is she a robot? That would be exciting.
Replicant army, mate.
No, it just means that she's cold and emotionless, but she wants to fight the resistance.
She says that her dad's a big prick who would kill everyone, and Layla responds to that with the usual, oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
She says that so much. As a lot of conversations end with, I'm sorry to hear that in this. Oh, your parents were killed. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. And then
Layla tries to recruit her as well.
Yeah.
No, Lucinda says that she's a murderer, but she likes to warn them first. So
that's better.
You're going to die. Bam.
Which made me laugh.
That's not much of a warning, love. At least give me a head start.
It's all right though because they were panicking before I popped it.
Yeah, and then we get to what I think is the bizarrest scene.
What you mean, Bubble setting up a camera for their new ISIS
setting
video?
up his OnlyFans.
On the pallet with the
Oh,
nice
God.
draped curtains background.
And I was like, this is like an Al Jazeera video.
Yeah.
The Christmas trees in there.
Yeah, the Christmas trees in there.
The pickles and the fire extinguisher are back as well.
Is the tabernacle in it?
No, it's not. That's on a separate table that can't be moved. Also, for some reason, Hunter's wearing a shirt that says Germany on it. In case
So
you don't
we
know
know
where
where
they are.
it's set.
All films should. Oh, good. And then he's like, "Okay, we're going to go live on the internet." In a chat room and then Holly's like, yes, it's secure and I will monitor it constantly. I'm like, oh, that's high-tech engineering hacking talk. That
He also says at this point something about Jesus. He also took the cup after a sucker, and I don't I don't know what that was supposed to be.
oh, he took it off a sucker. Give me that, you sucker. Mr. T was Jesus.
They don't have any wine, they've just got water. If you want to talk about the water.
Why is there a jar of piss on floor?
It's yellow.
Pickle juice.
Yeah, it probably is.
Can you give Holly looks very uncomfortable throughout all. I focused mostly on Holly because after her debut, hello, my name is Holly. I was like, she's the one I'm focusing on in this film. She looks uncomfortable, but she's only got one outfit. Holly must stink. And then, can you give communion if you're not a priest?
So I think, and this is somewhat trivia, but I don't think Wesley is his real name, like Joshua Wesley, the director. I think they're Methodists. I think it's taken after John Wesley. So it doesn't really sound like a German name.
Oh, maybe his actual name, his surname is Zus, and he's Joseph. No, that's not answering the question anyway. I'm like,
yeah, because outside Catholicism, I don't think you need a priest. There's probably like Eastern Orthodox churches where it's required and everything. But more pertinently, can anything be communion? As a sub question, can you have a communion gherkin?
This is my.
And
liver.
if so, is there a wrong way to eat that? Like,
you mean
my vicar friend?
Oh, you mean as a whole?
Yes.
I meant like a slice, like a slice of gherkin you would get on a burger, not a whole sexy pickle. I'm because it's the whole point of it is that it's transmutating the bread and wine into the body, into the actual body and blood of Jesus Christ. That's what Catholicism believes anyway. That is literally the body and blood of Jesus Christ.
So it could be anything. I mean, he says bread, so it's a disc of bread.
It's not a disc of bread because they crunch it. And
Church of England believe that it's just a representation, whereas Catholics believe it is now the
physically
body and
is.
blood.
Yeah.
So that gherkin could be
Jesus' finger.
Jesus.
Take this spaghetti, it is my hair. Yeah.
Oh, it reminds me of Mum's 60th cake.
There you go. That's how you pay a taxi driver, in cake. Yeah, because but the also other thing is that they chew it. They crunch up the Jesus biscuits, and you're not allowed to do that either. You have to like.
Again, Joe, we were raised Catholic, so you used to get slapped on head for chewing Jesus. I don't know what it's like in other churches.
It's not a really good sort of diversity panel, this, in terms of...
No, I know.
We were all raised Catholic, somehow.
I'm asking the vicar. She's not got back to me yet.
Oh,
you
right,
just
keep us posted.
Yeah, we can come back to that. I'll splice it in. I thought it was only priests that could do this, transubstantiation, and then I hope they all die. Like I thought it was going to be like a Jonestown thing with that piss in a jar. Yeah, they were going to commit suicide on screen because Holly didn't look like she was up for it, to be honest. She's just got that cross off her face. And then he says, they have took our rights from us, they have took our jobs from us, and they also took their shoes.
Yeah, they're all in socks, aren't they?
They're all in the socks. That's what Jesus would have wanted.
Can I ask another question? You know, if you had given a mass to the whole world is watching, how would you then celebrate?
Just turn it off, mate.
Because they say, oh, wow, that was so great. The whole world was watching. And then just gets off. Fucks off.
Hunter clicks twice for some reason. Like, he's like, should we do a jazz song? Should we do a jazz Amazing Grace? Yeah. But no, and then he just stops and looks really awkwardly around the room. And they just back.
Well, as we know from the blooper reel, the act playing Hunter struggled with that quite a bit, even though he had no role whatsoever in the scene.
He kept saying he had a brain condition. And I was like, explains why you're in this film.
I don't know that he's joking.
Nope, I genuinely think that he was He thought it was real.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Got
So
COVID.
the Reverend Lane has said that's currently a hotly debated and deeply theological question.
Hotly
Why?
debated.
That would be an ecumenical matter.
Is that worship nights hot or?
That's currently hotly debated. Interesting.
Wait, is she Anglican or something? You said vicar.
Yeah, CV.
So it's hotly debated within Anglican, but who knows what? I mean, I'm speculating that they're Methodist, but I don't think any Methodist would want to be associated with this bollocks.
No.
Anyway, we cut to an American officer, the American officer, who complains that the group has no weaknesses, which sounds like my CV.
I
Or
care too
strengths.
much.
Too much, yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, someone over here wants to see you," and it's Luke, the betrayer,
Don't put him in an interrogation room. Just put him over there by the wall.
by the cuckoo clock and the big train. And he goes, "Oh, you want to know about the Christians who have been dancing on your noses?" Which is a thing.
Yeah.
He
I
says,
was
"I have
hoping you'd record
information."
that bit because I didn't think that anybody would believe it, but that is
No,
a piece of dialogue.
There's also a bit where he says, "I have information about them, but you have to give me something in reverse."
Yes, he does.
And he goes, "I want immunity," and the guy goes, "Okay," and he goes, "Cool." That's how I dealt with it.
I think the guy offering immunity was like, "Oh, thank God, that's all he wants."
Yeah, he's like, "I want a new house or like a robot butler." Nope, just I don't want to be. See, if he had immunity, he wouldn't be being prosecuted for it. So you mustn't be allowed to practice or show it in thingy. So
I can travel where I want. I can go into any tunnel I want.
and one dude in a gas mask just staring at him all the way through.
Might be Tim.
It could be long, Tim. Where
That
do they
sets off the
live?
betrayal klaxon anyway.
Why do they live? 25 kilometers away. Hit those disco lights.
Right, this is where it's edited together so shoddily. And there's a woman stood up, and then it cut, and then she sat down, and then it cuts, and she stood up again. I'm like,
They forgot her keys. And they were, Also, the opening bit when you were doing that sounds like the start of Saturday Night by Wakefield.
oh, it's like somebody slow blinking. It was pointless. There was no need for it.
It goes on for ages, and
It
I'm like,
does.
are they police or army? Because they're getting guns and stuff. I'm obsessed
Why
with
is this
this.
alert strictly necessary anyway?
It's the Christian scramble, mate.
It panics Layla anyway, who then phones Bubbles to warn him.
Yep. This has gone on for far too long. Layla phones them. Even though they live in flats, the police officers come down the stairs. So they must have missed that floor. And like, oh shit, come back down again. They throw a tear gas grenade, and they all barrel in. One of them kicks the fuck out of the tiny Christmas tree.
There's a lot of pent-up rage from Christmas's past.
It absolutely hoofs it. That was great.
There's no one there, so it's like, oh, fuck it, I'm taking it out on that tree.
And then I was like, oh, wait, this was in the past. I'd forgotten that this was like 3 months previous.
Presumably in 2024. If it's Christmas time, I don't know.
I don't know whether they have the Christmas tree all year round. Some people do. They've nothing else in that flat to look at. So
I mean, they're
why not look at the
savages,
tiny
so-
Christmas tree? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it my turn with the Christmas tree today, Hannah? No.
Anyway, classic Bubbles running off.
Runs away, being pursued by 2 soldiers and a local weatherman. Yeah, he does some running. He chases him up an embankment and across a bridge. It's very like Last of the Summer Wine sort of chase. He runs past this scrapyard to where this citron is, the citron from the start of the film. He hoofs a rock through the window. I'm like, Jesus is all right with stealing then, is he?
Yep, vandalism. Yeah, that's theft. So no.
Well, they
heaven for
deserve
you.
it because the owner of the Clio keeps their car key on top of the dashboard.
Yeah, as you do. Oh, also, right.
Well,
he
it's
throws
fucked this car anyway, isn't
He
it?
throws the rock through the window and then looks at the camera and goes, "Oh, what's this? You can't
He just
start
can't-
doing."
It's the Irish lock.
Oh,
Yes,
mate.
it is.
Jimmy Bennett waving in the background. Where? You can't start breaking the fourth wall at this later stage in the film.
He's
That's
saving
not-
himself, though, isn't he? He's very selfish.
Oh yeah, because we don't find out what happens to Holly and Hunter and Hannah. They're all called H. That's Triple H. Hannah and Hunter and Holly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan is Triple H.
Never find out what happens to them. They just get off scot-free. I'm assuming Holly goes back to dancing in underway car parks and shit like that, and the rest of the goths do. I don't know.
Well, no, they've got to resolve that whole Hunter and Hot Babe situation, haven't they? I think it's sort of like a Mark Antony and Cleopatra style thing. They're going to start their own movement and then have to die by getting stung or bitten.
2026, the year they break Roy out of prison.
It's a bit late for that.
No, this is where we came in. This is the start of the film again. The first 5 minutes in exactly the same order.
Yay.
It's like the Fast and Furious. What about Hunter and Holly and the other girl one? And he gets caught. He crashes his car in true Jimmy Bennett style. And the commandant says, "Execute him and dispose of him discreetly." And I'd hang him from the fucking town hall. Like, send a warning, innit? Like, Handmaid's Tale style. Put the fear into your enemies.
Yeah.
If it's a new world order and communism is everywhere, then why not?
She takes him into the woods instead.
Two of them drive him into the woods. The robot girl and just a random dude in a gas mask.
It's nice to know, though, that they had an air freshener, so his last moments would have been
was
pine
piney
fresh.
And they make him kneel down in the woods, and then we have another image over image thing of him proposing to Layla.
Is that what it was?
Hannah and Hunter singing karaoke.
Yeah. I thought that Hunter was like on synth or something.
Yeah, it looked like
it was really weird. I couldn't really place it.
He
at
can
all.
play guitar, so the skills are transferable. Once you know chords, it's easy. Yeah. And then
it's called Depeche Alamode.
Fuck you. That's why Tim's not in it, because he had an Erasure shirt on. You see, it all makes sense now. And then she's got this gun trained on him, robot lady, and then it cuts away, and then she's moved so it's right next to his head. The other guy stood there
Like
with
the Weeping Angels.
That's what I thought, yeah. But I think, right now, is this picture-in-picture thing they do, is that what his life flashing before his eyes? Or is that him thinking, this is the things I wish could have happened? I could have proposed to Layla. I could have gone to karaoke. I could have watched Depeche Alamode. Always go and watch your mates' bands when you can, because you never know when you're going to get shot in the head in the woods by a robot Nazi from the future.
But she said she warns them of her murders, but she didn't warn him, unless it was just standing in front of him with that gun for 20 minutes.
This is the thing, though, I think, because then it cuts to black and there's two audio bank free sample gunshot sounds. And then it goes, this film was made by Thingy. Special thanks to our Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ, who did the catering.
I actually laughed out loud when that did.
Yeah, he was in charge. He did all the stunt work. And then there's a fucking bloopers reel. And I was like, you can't put a bloopers reel in this level of nonsense. So it's like Roy trying to throw a rock through the window and it bouncing out twice with his spindly girl arms.
Should be employed by Tesla.
Yeah, Hunter not being able to do his lines. Tim or Luke or one of them not getting his line. It's not a good blooper reel. Like the fake ones from Toy Story are better. And then that's that.
It's terrible.
That's the film. But I think the two shots at the end were her turning and shooting the guard. She had a moment of consciousness and was like, "No, Roy, you are Jesus on earth. You are the savior." And she wants to save him.
I've got a separate theory about this. So Joshua Bubbles in this is Jesus. Luke is Judas. And it's sort of like a Last Supper style thing when they do the communion.
Oh, so it's like a Christ allegory.
But I think probably we put in a bit too much emphasis on it.
I was going to say, I don't remember Jesus being involved in a low speed pursuit.
Oh, man. You haven't read Mark 2.
And Jesus did try and ramp the horse over. And that's that. That was that whole stinky pile of nonsense.
Crazy mess.
Your scores on the doors.
Oh, 0.1. Can we do minus, actually?
Yeah, you can have like the ghost of Fabio.
I wouldn't even give it Fabio's name.
Okay. What was the lowest one we had? Was it half a seagull's anus is the lowest we've had, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to say
stinky toe. I don't know.
Not even an anus.
Half a gherkin.
I'm going to give it half a fucked up Christmas tree.
Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah,
it was really bad.
It's preachy. It's preachy, but not in a fun way. It's just long speeches.
Yeah.
The
Long made
acting's
up
terrible.
speeches.
Yeah,
All
because
dialogue's made up on the spot.
it feels like it's an improv workshop. I'm so sorry.
Screenplay was just a list of names. Tim.
Yeah, it's bad. Don't watch this. Don't even consider watching it. It's not even good bad like Neil Breen, or like it's just pretentious and thinks it's got something to say, but literally has nothing to say. It is good for the fuck Jesus bench, but other than that, I wouldn't bother with it myself.
Watch Father Ted instead.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, you said that it had a budget, you think, of about 10 grand.
That's what IMDb says, yes.
I couldn't get any budgetary information, so I didn't do anything. But I did find out that you could get 50 barrels of Indian gherkins on the internet for 10 grand, weirdly.
That's
So
a lot
that
of
works out
gherkins.
quite well. It does, and it is a lot of gherkins. And also, I was surprised by the fact that they come out of a barrel, like ale or crude oil or something. So, yeah.
Right, so with that, how many do you reckon it would make to make a full-scale replica of Jesus? For your, because then you could be like,
Oh, you mean out of the barrels or out of the
yeah,
gherkins?
yeah. Out of how many gherkins do you
Scooping
reckon
them
to make a Jesus? And then you could be like, when you're doing your online sermon to people around the world, you'd be like, and this is Jesus. He says, "Come and have a munch of me." And then they could all like a zombie film. You could all eat gherky zombie Jesus.
Are we any clearer to realising whether you can use a gherkin as a
It's a hotly
Jesus
debated
Christ.
subject, isn't it?
hot gherkin? Right.
Oh, I've
She
been
sent
to
me
that
a
nightclub.
massive essay.
Oh well.
Okay, let's
well.
cut to that. It was written, directed, edited, produced by. Special effects were also by. Played as policeman number 5. Character Joshua Wesley. His brother Simon also co-directed. But if I'm correct in the fact that they've assumed Wesley as a name, then it could be part of a family in the sense of they're all just adopting the name Wesley. And that would explain why there's Stephen Wesley, Simon Wesley, Ringo Wesley probably, Tommy Wesley.
Right.
Yeah, so Stephen and Simon Wesley play Policeman 4 and Dylan, respectively. Now then,
Okay. Right.
there's also Isabel Schuerman, who is now Isabel Wesley, and that was Layla. So I'm not sure how to allude to this, but in the Instagram post I mentioned in the disclosure, it pertains to Joshua Wesley's now wife, Isabel, and she played Layla. Which is why I was not comfortable in calling her hot babe throughout this. And thinking back to the love scene, I now feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I've thought he's literally getting his girlfriend on screen so we can do a kiss of her. It's yeah. If you want to read more about that, look it up. It's gross.
It also cryptically stars Tim Bluss as Tim. And I'd looked into Joshua Wesley because there's nothing else on IMDb about who any of these people are. This appears to be the first film, and Joshua Wesley has already put on his Instagram account that he is #1 best-selling director.
I mean,
Best-selling, I usually think in terms of authors.
best selling in his own house.
He's also developed an app called Lifelong that gives relationship advice, and it offers
Right.
simple platitudes. Christ is a good word to use. Let us fall in love with God together, says one picture. And a man who will lead you to God and not to sin is always worth the wait.
Oh,
Make sure Jesus is in the middle of you.
I'm gonna stop this before I say something that I'm gonna have to cut out later on.
He also appears to operate a YouTube account called Wesley's, which features videos such as Jesus ist mein Bro and reactions to Richard Dawkins, and then something on the Israel-Palestine debate, because Joshua Wesley was exactly what that debate needed.
Yeah,
He's also
he looks like the Nazi commandant who secretly enjoys torturing the prisoners. Like
He's got a new film idea, though. Did anybody pick up on this?
Jesus Christ, what's this? Is it Joshua Wesley does kissing with all the pretty ladies?
Interestingly enough, no, it's Airplane Missionaries film documentary. You can find it on Kickstarter, and the subtitle is The Exciting and Dangerous Life of Missionaries in the Bahamas.
Oh, so he wants a jolly then, doesn't he?
Mm.
I'm going to go to the Bahamas and film missionary positions.
Oh, Christ. He's pledged a goal of £20,000, and so far it's got 2 backers and raised £17.
I know what I'm doing later. Going there, finding those people, and emailing them that article.
Yeah, it's really.
How long's it got left to run?
I I think
It doesn't matter.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Kickstarter. The goal of the movie, it says, is to inspire people to do something important with their lives. We want to encourage people to make a difference with their lives, which is straight out of that film. That is what the dialogue was like all the way through. I want to make the world a better place. People who sees this film, there's the missionaries on the ground and the poor people who will benefit because people who donate money or donate time because of film. That's what this reads like.
Okay, no.
This can help people all over the world, but specifically in the Bahamas where they have to be. They're not going to Afghanistan, are they?
No, they're not going. They're going somewhere hot that serves drinks in a half a coconut shell. I just looking at the IMDb. He's the only one on this on IMDb who's got a picture, and he looks like Rob McElhenney from
from Always Sunny.
From Always Sunny, if like he was pushed through a shit machine.
A lot of his YouTube thing is also like relationship advice and Christian sex advice, which I just recoil from instinctively, and that's why I've not done any further research.
Yeah, because I'm
shutting that down.
Having to bite my lip, something chronic.
Should we go to reviews?
I just want to say that on the IMDb trivia for this, a lot of it has been removed for obvious reasons because people were abusing it. But if you go on Amazon Prime, it's still there. And I just want to give one of them. This was the only film since the 1970s that can boast about being filmed in front of a live firing squad. The rest of them, there's one about an animatronic Jesus. But I think because he's spat his toys out of the pram and can't take a joke, he's had it cleared off.
No, I think he's trying to delete evidence. Could well do that. Delete that out of the podcast.
I believe his Instagram and her Instagram are now private.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so rotter.
I tried to find short reviews because I didn't want to delve any deeper this than needed to be. So I've got a top, middle, and a bottom. The first one is from Brenda. What do we think Brenda scored it?
Oh, I think Brenda loved this.
Yeah, I do.
I think Brenda's like, this is what the world needs saving.
She did give it 5 out of 5, so you're right there. Title is, this movie is prophetic.
Did she spell pathetic wrong?
Makes you think about the times we're in. This is not fiction. This is reality.
Brenda, you
Thank you, Brenda.
Not 2025 yet.
I thought you had to write at least 150 characters for it to be counted. Christ. How is that prophetic? Oh, Brenda, big Brenda.
But I saw Brenda's name and I was like, she's going to give it top mat yet.
Oh, yeah. She's like, I love men with pervy taxi driver glasses preaching at me.
Right. Pierre Ibrahim.
It's
1 out
name.
of 5.
It's a strong French Jewish name.
He only gave it a 1 out of 5.
Oh, Pierre.
And his title is I Just Couldn't, Y'all.
What?
I think Pierre Ibrahim is saying what we're all thinking.
Oh, Pierre Ibrahim, and he's putting y'all in there.
And I'm confused as to where he...
Welcome to Pierre's Barbecue Smokehouse.
I powered through a whole hour of this. I wasted 1 full hour of my life.
Yeah.
Also, what's up with the Hackers PC time showing November of 2020? Though this was in 2025.
Did we not pick up on that? Well done.
Yeah, do you want a job?
Though this was 2025, where meeting, traveling, and Christianity, all in cap, is illegal. I swear these people just wanted to feel persecuted so badly.
Again, I like Pierre Ibrahim. We should go to his Louisiana style steakhouse.
And then the middle of the road is by Shugam.
Not as funny.
5 out of 10. And the title is The Best Cereal Eating Scene.
Yes! Thank you, Shugam. I agree.
My favourite part of this is it says, warning, spoilers. Let's be honest, you came for the soundtrack on this banger. If these tunes don't draw you in, you're either mercifully deaf or you have no facilities to experience pure existential terror. There is also a very pretty woman who quietly eats cereal.
Come on, you do it.
Spoilers! I assume the devil... I can't do it.
Oh, breathe in, come on. You want me to find it? Where is it?
I just need to cut this out and I'll start again. It's just me laughing for 20 minutes. Right, so there is also a very pretty woman who quietly eats cereal.
Right, I'm finding the sodding review. I'll bloody do it. Jeez, I want to go bed.
I'm sending it to you. I just can't do it.
Right, what did it say? It was 5 stars. Right,
I've got it. I've got it.
Right, you got one more try, then I'm doing it.
No, I've sent it to you. I can't do it.
All right. Due to a malady, Bernadette can't read this one. The best aerial eating scene by Shugum. Let's be honest, you came for the soundtrack on this banger. If these tunes don't draw you in, you're either mercifully deaf or you have no facilities to experience pure existential terror. There is also a very pretty woman who quietly eats cereal. I assume the devil opposes the intake of fibrous grains. Like a respectable Christian lady, she says, "Fie on you, Satan," and eats her generic cornflakes. I love the gritty realism and how it contrasts with the natural beauty of the performer. So, yeah, well done.
I love you, Shugum.
It's
Yes.
the fibrous grains.
It's great. Well done. Yeah, Shugum and Pierre, get in touch. You can have a hat or something. Just be a hat I found. It won't be like, but yeah.
You have to remember to take it off to kiss, though. That's a thing.
It would have been better if you kissed her and it went.
That would have been comedy. There's no comedy allowed.
It's the power of Jesus' deep kissing. Yeah, that's that. Oh, this has got silly. Thank you all for listening. We're back on normal rotation now, and we will go back to doing like what we originally set out to do with this podcast. Rather than
This was too far.
We've touched something that we shouldn't have.
What a sentence.
You see what I've done there? In conclusion, that was 2025, the year the virus enslaved us, or some shite. I don't know. I'm going off to bleach into my eyes now after this. If you want to give us a follow on Twitter, you find us Hallmark Greatness, and on Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Greatness. I've just said that, but yeah. There's an email, hallmarkgreatness@gmail.com. There's Twitch that we might be doing something proper on. Me and Craig are both. He bought a Switch now, so we should be doing like something on that at some point. Anything else? Your favourite lines from the film?
Just say that there's an animal cracker.
Yeah. Look, it's my tray.
I know I have money and
I am watching my top. Goodbye.
Bye. We're not getting into theological disputes.